Welcome to the Voice of Oneness, your call to awaken. This show is your call to awaken to the truth of your being through the teachings of the Voice of Oneness, spoken by Amara. On this show, you will receive spiritual guidance and the teachings of oneness from the heart of spirit directly to your heart, along with the tools and techniques to apply these teachings to your day-to-day life. Tuning in each week, you will grow in a deeper, richer understanding of your true nature as teachings are offered about universal spiritual laws that govern our lives. You will learn the right use and application of these laws to achieve the richest life from the perspective of experiencing abundance in all areas of your life. Amara Bonet is a renowned psychic, spiritual teacher, coach, energy healer, mystic, and gifted visionary who taps into the higher realms to join with the vast collective of source energy. Now, your host of Voice of Oneness, Amara Bonet.
Good evening and welcome, friends, to the Voice of Oneness, your call to awaken podcast here on WLTK Talk Radio. I am Amara Bonet. I am your host and presenter of the Voice of Oneness, and I am so grateful that you've joined us here tonight. We have a great show in store for you. The title of our show is It's Time to Wake Up from the Dream. Are you ready? Are you ready for the wake up? The awakening, as it's called these days. And I apologize for my voice. I'm having a bit of, reaction to different allergens in the air around me. So if it seems like it's going a little scratchy, I might stop and take a drink of water just to help it. As always, I invite you to put your comments in the comments section. Any questions that you have, let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're watching. Let me know that we're journeying together this evening. Put any questions that you may have, and I'll address them as I can throughout the podcast. Sometimes when they start coming in quite rapidly in succession, I can't keep up with all of them. I do my best. And if I miss one and you'd like to contact me and get an answer to your question, please contact me at Amara, A-U-M-A-R-A, at Amara, A-U-M-A-R-A, Bonet, B-O-N-N-E-T.com. That's my email. That's one of my many emails, but that's the one that I'll check having to do with this podcast, and I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have. So, tonight we have Awakening from the Dream. And the dream, hello, B. Thanks for chiming in. So, the dream is that which we are living in our life, that which we are experiencing, the story of which we are telling ourselves, of which we are believing we are within. The roles of which we're playing, so that we are actually experiencing ourselves in the world as that which we believe ourselves to be. And if we were to just close our eyes and breathe in and feel our energy, we are divine. We are divine energy. We are from the Creator who created all of creation. But we're living this dream believing that we're not. We're actually playing out the role that we're separate. We're under a spell of separation. We're separate, and we have to control. We have to control our lives. We have to do things, make things happen. We have to protect ourselves. We have to do everything ourselves. When that is part of the dream, that's the illusion. And now we're at a point in our human evolution where we are waking up from that dream. We're becoming aware that there's more to life than what we believe, than what we've been taught, than what we read about, than what we hear about or speak about. We are so much more, and we're starting to have experiences in different ways, through dreams, through visions, through what we can call as awakening symptoms. We may be experiencing a flash of light in our peripheral vision and go, oh, what's that? That's really strange. We may be seeing what we call interdimensionally. We may be seeing different dimensions. We may be experiencing more than one reality at a time. So all of that leads us to say, okay, there's so much more here. And this is exciting because I'm entering into this new field, this new exploration. I'm no longer just contained within the story of the status quo of which I am living, but I'm expanding. And that gets really exciting. So this is the waking up from the dream. And we're all doing it at different stages, but it's taking place in a quickened sense, faster than it's ever done in all of our time here on this planet. It's happening faster. The veil is thinning. It's been thinning for a while now. And when I say veil, it's the cover between that which we're living is this illusion, this dream, and that which is the reality of our true nature of our being, that which is the oneness. We've got a veil over that. We've come into life forgotten who we are in truth, not knowing, kind of bumping around in the dark, trying to feel our way around, trying to experience life and have success and go about different adventures, but not from the spiritual perspective, but from the human perspective. And that's kind of what we're here to do. We are here to have a human experience. We're here with free will in this dream state so that we can awaken to the true nature of our being. We can awaken to love and experience love and choose love as our one true reality. And we're in this play, this game, this dream of which fear is the spell that's placed upon us to control us, to keep us in a fearful state, not empowered and not exploring the true nature of our being. We are, in truth, creators of worlds. How do you personally feel different from oneness compared to, Tonia? Am I saying that right? Tonia, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. How do you personally feel different feeling of oneness compared to independent thought? Independent thought. Tanya. Okay. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you so much. How do we compare the oneness? The oneness, there's one. Okay. So in the oneness, there is one mind, one heart, one experience that is now coming into the human form in individuated aspects of awareness. We are each individuals. We are individuated aspects of the one consciousness. Our own individual expression comes with the compilation of memories in this lifetime and all lifetimes of which we have experienced. So we see things through the individual lens of our experiences, and we then respond and react in life based on our own independent thought. And we think that we're thinking. We say, "Oh, I'm thinking." But if we pause for a moment and we say, "Well, really, who's really thinking? Am I really thinking, or am I being thought?" We're actually being thought from the oneness, from the one mind. The thoughts come to us, and then we respond to the thought. So we have a thought based on what we've received. So we receive in likeness to the level of awareness that we are holding. The experiencing that we're having in our life is based on our vibration. Where we are, we're energy, we're all energy. Everything in life is energy. It's in motion, it's moving, has a vibration to it. So each one of us holds our own vibration. We're in the field vibrating, and we draw to us experiences, thoughts, expressions of the energy of which we are based on the vibration of which we are holding. And we draw to us in likeness. So when we are experiencing, for instance, we have friends. We choose our friends, and our friends are usually in likeness to us vibrationally. Because if they're not, it's not going to feel very comfortable to be around them, and we're quickly going to want to get away. We're going to want to say, "Oh, well, I'm not feeling that I want to be in your company anymore," for one reason or another. We'll have something arise where we won't be able to stay together because we're not in likeness vibrationally. We're in vibrational accord with one another when we're going through the experiences that we are to have in this life so that we can awaken, so that we're waking up. So we play roles in this story. It's a collective expression of energies as well as the independent thought. It definitely influences our experiences and how we perceive. And I'm going to get a little bit more into the perception of things in a little bit. But first, I want to share something that came through to me this afternoon. And as I was sitting thinking about how I was going to approach the subject tonight and speak about it, what came to me was I asked the team of which I work with, which is the Voice of Oneness. It's the collective expression of oneness. And the purpose that we join together for is to bring the teachings of oneness to anyone who is open to receive. So this is what was given, and I'm going to go ahead and read directly from here so I don't mess it up. So it said to me, I asked, "Do you have anything to say?" It's yes, there's always something to say. Here you have a topic, and the addressing of this topic is but a taste within an hour's show. Now, the fact that only a taste or a glimpse may be the experience, this is not meant to dissuade one from entering into the beauty of the moment of expansion, the opening to more, to receive the flow of life and move within its currents to be carried further along your path to awaken to your divine nature. Let's talk of awakening from the dream or the story of which you have been living. We use the term you to speak directly to the listener as this is your experience. So you talked about individual thought. Everyone who comes to these words feels the tone, the vibration within the words as their own individual experience. And that's something that we need to pay attention to in life. This is your experience. We're here for you. We are you. You are us. This is part of your awakening. You're expanding your thought to open to endless possibilities for experiencing life. Life is God. God is allness. You have sprung forth from the allness as individuated aspects of awareness in a sea of consciousness. Each of you experience your unique point of conscious awareness. In each and every moment, you are the ever-expanding life of oneness. You exist as an energy in a field of energy in motion, vibrating and ever moving forward. Your focus is on a very tiny part of the expression of you, a very infinitesimal part of the expression of you. What you consider to be your life experience, it holds limitations based on your beliefs about yourself and your world. What you are, what you see, and what you feel, and how you interpret that information is based on past experiences, which is what we were just discussing. You are creative energy with unlimited potential. creating in a myopic illusion of forms, living a story, repeated thought forms, and believing that that is all you are. You're born, you live the story, it's repeated different thought forms throughout your life until we transition from this planet. So we're born and we believe that we die and we have experience. We're supposed to live a life in between and we're supposed to make the very best of it. And this is what we're taught. But there's so much more, so much more. You are the light and the love of the Most High Creator of all that is experiencing itself in a limited form through belief to continue the eternal expression of life in all forms. So that's what we're doing. We are here as the divine expression of the allness, experiencing ourselves as limited. And as we begin to awaken from the dream, we begin to become empowered. We begin to come into the realization that we are the divine expression. And we begin to create based on our understanding of that. So we begin to create a much different world than someone who believes that they hold no power, that they are simply here and they are products of their parents, and everything that they experience in life comes to them, not that it's created by them. The awakening from the dream is realizing that what we are here to experience is created by us, through us, as us. And that's a journey. That's the journey of the life in which we're living. So we're getting to live an experience in a human form. The human form, when we compare it to our spirit, because we're spirit inside of this body is not who we are. This body is that which houses our spirit. When we enter the body, now we're in physical form. Now we have a mental body and an emotional body and a spiritual body and the physical body. We have the physiology of the form. We have all the cells and organs of our being. We have our feelings. We have the power of our emotions. And when we are experiencing life, and as we move along and we begin to awaken, we come to the realization that it is our job to work with the emotional body so that the emotional body does not control our experience. We bring our emotions in as part of the experience. We utilize them to help us create, but we are not a prisoner of them, which we can be when we're unaware that we have the ability to create with our mind and our emotion. When we come into right knowing and understanding of the true nature of our being, then we operate from a much different place, a much different place. And as we are awakening from the dream, we are all coming to new awarenesses. We're beginning to question that which we've been taught, that which we've experienced, our own explanation within ourselves of what something means. Because the energy of the times here on earth is for the revealing of that which is untrue. That which is untrue has a vibration held in fear. The fear vibration is a lower form. It's a lower vibrating energy. We are now rising up. We are inhabiting the planet Earth, which is a living super consciousness, very aware and loving of all that is within its field. But its consciousness, like our consciousness, we are all in oneness together. We are rising up. We are rising up. So it is the choice of the consciousness, Mother Earth, we call her Gaia. She is choosing to rise up. So as she's rising up, the energy is shifting on the planet and it's causing major changes. I think we need to knowledge, and the fear is tool given to us to learn instead of fearing fear. Absolutely. Acknowledge. Absolutely. It is. It is. And as we come into understanding of that, what Tanya is saying here is that fear is not something to be feared. It's a tool. Fear is here because it's necessary. It's necessary for us to get to the point and experience life and all the things that go on and say, wait a minute, this is not my choice. I choose to expand my consciousness. I choose to connect with that which created me. I choose to align with the divine. I choose to be empowered and not disempowered. So fear is definitely a necessary part of the game. Even many people will say what we have going on in our world today is a battle between good and evil. And for some people, that's their perception. That works for them. That's what they need. But when we look in the grand scheme of things, there is not an evil and a good that's holding a battle. There is the force that is controlling. It is that spell. It is that fear, but it's necessary component for the awakening. And as we awaken, we begin to rise in consciousness. We begin to rise in vibration. And we are then emitting into the field more light. We are light by the nature of our being, and we begin to turn up that light. We've been dimmed down for a long, long time. We begin to become empowered. We turn up that light. And I'm speaking metaphorically as a light switch with a dimmer. We begin to turn it up. We're turning up that light. So when we think about it, what happens when we walk into a dark room? We walk into a dark room, we turn on the light, there's no more darkness. The darkness is then engulfed by the light, and it's all light. There's no dark. Good evening, Jamie Lynn Keller. Nice to have you with us tonight. Thank you for saying hello. So there isn't a battle. It simply is what's going on so that we can make a choice, because that's part of the game of life. We must each choose. We are individuated aspects of consciousness that must choose the return to oneness. We must choose to acknowledge that we are love. We are not fear. Feelings help us grow. Tanya says there is no good out evil. There is no good or evil. It's simply energy, but it's part of the game. It's part of what needs to take place, because we do hold perception, and we hold perception based on all the experiences that we've had. So we are that individuated consciousness. We have our awareness, and then we have the collective, which is the sea of consciousness of which we are all swimming within. So we cannot separate ourselves from the sea of consciousness. That's our oneness. We are one in that sea of consciousness. We're experiencing individually, but we're part of the whole. So we have that which we go through individually and that which we go through as the whole. So the whole right now, what we're going through collectively on the earth, is the rising up, is the claiming of the true nature of that which we are, and the destruction and crumbling of that which is untrue. This is a revealing time for lies to come to light. So we get to recognize, oh my goodness, this is not true. And then now we can move in a new way. So What's being created here is a new foundation, a foundation to build on, a foundation based on the true nature of our being, a foundation based on claiming our own divine right, our birthright. We are connected and have individual perspective and can also be influenced by others. You are definitely influenced by others. Absolutely. You're part of the collective. There's nothing that takes place in this world by any one of us that doesn't impact the whole. We may be living in our own bubble, in our own lives, around the own people that we're the people who we are within relationship with, and that's within our conscious mind. But the thoughts, actions, deeds of which we are part of is impacting the whole. There's no way it cannot. That's why we are expanding at the rate we're expanding now, because more and more people are choosing to awaken. So the more that awakens, that's more light. It begins to illuminate the field, illuminate the planet. So it's shedding light on the darkness, and it's calling more people out of the shadow to come into the light, to say, yes, it's safe. I can do that. Where before it might not have felt so safe. Now there are more people coming out and talking about the topics like we're talking about tonight on this podcast. Where back, 10 years ago, that was not done. That was not something that was done. Now, was the topic being talked about? Yes, it was, but in small groups, usually private settings, usually people's homes or some space of which they were in, gathered together with like-minded individuals. Now it's becoming more mainstream. Now it's more out in the open. Now more people are beginning to say, whoa, yeah. It must have been something that happened in a past life. So they're acknowledging their reincarnation. They're acknowledging that we are energy of which is always in motion. There is no death. We are a continuation always of energy, experiencing here on this planet at this time, the expression of which is our current awareness, so that we can rise up in consciousness. Rise up in consciousness collectively and individually. So, as we rise up in consciousness collectively, that's how we create what's termed the new earth. That's how we come into a new field of expression where we are emitting into the field our choice of love, our choice of compassion, our choice of expressing the oneness of our being rather than the separation. So, right now, we're experiencing those that are choosing this action, and we are meeting the resistance of those which are not yet ready. And that is those that are very much in and invested in keeping us separate, keeping us believing that in the separation from God, that which created us. So, how do we do that? We try to remove God from the consciousness on the planet, which has been actions that have been taken. We try to usurp our divine nature by believing that there are those that have power over us, governments, systems, corporations, those with more money, more knowledge, that we believe, many people do, that they hold the power, that they can't make a change because they hold the power, so why try? But those that are awakening are illuminating now the truths and beginning to stand tall and say, no, this is the way. Love is the way. We awaken to the true nature of our being, and we begin to express ourselves from the field of love. We don't fight fear. We just shine our light, and we place our focus and intention on expressing love. We have a desire within us. It's innately within all. It's more than a desire. It's innately within us to be free. Everyone, everything in all of creation holds within freedom. That's our driving force. The Creator that created us, God, the allness, is free, absolutely free. We are that. We are one with the Creator. We are the Creator here having a human experience. So within us also is that drive to be free. Therefore, we have this great awakening. We have infinite possibilities when we live our lives through love, kindness, empathy, love for ourselves and others. Absolutely. Absolutely, we do. But we must reach that point of awareness. We must open to it. We must open our hearts enough through trust to allow ourselves to experience the possibilities. We must open to them. They are here. They've always been there. But we have not seen them. We have not felt the power within. For we have been living underneath layers and layers and layers of untruths, which have disempowered us. The awakening is all about empowerment. It's all about removing the layers. If I'm looking through a camera lens and I'm looking at a beautiful flower and my lens is clear, I can take a photo of that flower and I could see its beauty. But if my lens has dirt on it, I'm not going to be able to see the flower clearly. Doesn't mean that the flower isn't there. It is. It's my lens that's dirty. We've been seeing through lenses which are not clear. We are now in the process of opening and developing and experiencing the empowerment through awareness that we are one with that which created us. And that's a process. That's a study. That's not something that we just wake up one morning and boom, oh, I'm aware. No, it means that I'm at a point, I've reached a point in my consciousness that I'm open to. And then the likeness comes then into my field, those thoughts, those expressions, and I begin to join with them. And as I join with them, my vibration then is now rising. And as I begin to rise up, then I draw to me the next level, the next greater iteration of ourselves, the growth. But it must come in stages. It doesn't come all at once because we must empty our container when we're talking about that which is our body, our mind, that which we're holding, the beliefs about ourselves. We must empty that to be able to take on more, to be able to take on something that's new. We must release what we're holding on to have space for what is waiting to emerge. And many of us become very challenged by that because we're very comfortable holding on to what we've known. We can feel a feeling inside of us, a rising up that there's something that's seeking to emerge, but we may not hold the willingness to let go of what we've known so that we can emerge into what is waiting to be the next experience. And that comes with knowledge that we believe when we talk about any concept. We have a present knowledge, an understanding of it, and we can speak about it like we're speaking here tonight. And it resonates based on the perception. It's based on what we're holding as a belief. And that's good in the moment. But if we want to go beyond this expression, we've got to be willing to let go of the belief and say, oh, there's more. Oh, there's more. So I'm willing to let go of this so that I can experience the more. So I'm willing to say to myself, I know nothing. There's nothing. I'm coming to this brand new so that I have space to receive what's being offered. And that is a challenge for many, many people because that we are taught to pride is something that gets in the way. It's part of the human condition. But to be very much aware of our ability to make things happen, our ability to achieve, our ability to grow, our ability to perform. And those are wonderful abilities, and we all have them, but they're not there to stifle us. They're not there to become a problem. They're not there to paralyze us, because I think that I know, and I know, therefore I don't want to listen to what this person's saying over here, because I already know. I know that. And once we do that, I know, when we say, I know that, I don't need to know, we've then planted ourselves firmly right there. We go no further. And that's sad, because there's so much more. And when we become aware that there's so much more, now we say, oh, wow, yeah, I know what I know, and this is adding to it. And then as I take this on within me, this is going to be assimilated, and then I'm going to come to new awareness. I'm going to grow here. My consciousness is expanding. And out of the excitement of the expansion, then I share with others what I've received. And now others have an opportunity to expand. I'm an awful type tonight. That's funny, Tanya. Yeah, I know. It's the energy of the times, too. Some of us have a difficult time speaking and typing. Many untruths have been in our history. Within that, a lot of trauma. Trauma, just as you said, fear now, Tanya, I want you to think of trauma. Trauma is just as necessary as fear. Okay, trauma is part of the experiencing that we have that gives us ignites the potential for growth. Inside of every trauma is a beautiful gift, a beautiful gift. But when we are in the throes of the trauma, we don't see the gift. We only experience the trauma. But when we are moving through it and we're growing, we're expanding, when we get to the point where we held readiness, and that we decide when that is, when we decide we're ready, then we say, okay, what has this brought to me? What is within this? It sucks, but it's so true. Yes, it's the beauty of it. It's the beauty of life. It's the beauty of life, because we cannot hold on to things. So the trauma lets us know, yes, this is an awful experience, but we got to let this go too. We can't hold on to it. And some of us get stuck in the trauma cycle and we hold on to it because, oh, how awful it is. And we get into living within that because we become comfortable within that. We get addicted to the emotional responses of it until we can come out of it. And we come out when we're in readiness. But trauma always holds a gift. Always. Everything in life holds a gift. We just have to be willing to see it. And then once we see it, willing to unwrap it. And when we do that, we unwrap it, then we receive it. Because when we have to receive it, because we could then push it away and say, no, we always have that free will to do that. But when we're ready to receive it, this is a gift from the soul. And it always means growth. Always. It's always a beautiful gift for growth. Once we've achieved the growth, now that's ours. We embody it and it stays with us. And when we leave this earthly experience, we take that with us because that's now part of our consciousness. So that's what we take with us. All the rest of the things that we do on this planet, the jobs we hold, the roles we play, all that stuff is meaningless. What's the point here is that we get to experience growth. And when we open up and we allow ourselves to be present and to feel and to be aware of what's happening, and not through separation, not through I have to protect myself, not through I have to accumulate things so that I can hold meaning, so that I can be worthy, but knowing that I am already worthy. And this experience is a blessing to me. It helps me to see it in new light. That's the beauty. And that's what we are to experience when we come into readiness. So there are those of us that are awakening from the dream, beginning to wake up. There are those of us that are very deep into the awakening process, but there is no end to it. It is simply the experiencing of that which we are in truth. We get hooked on things. It's like looking on that which is shiny and feeling that's something that we have to have because it has value. It's shiny. And that's kind of how we're taught in life, that things hold value. What holds value is the heart, the expression of energy of that which we are, to experience love, to give love, to receive love. That's the value in life. All the stuff, the trimmings that we experience, and oh, yeah, it feels good, but then we must put it down. We must let it go. We can't hold on to it. We're here to experience love. Love is the most important. And when we go through the traumas and we go through the trials and tribulations of life, and when we are in the midst of it and we could stop for a moment and we can say, okay, yeah, this hurts. It feels really bad. But I know that everything holds a gift. And I'm going to shift my attention and I'm going to allow myself to experience what's here for me. That is loving yourself. That's self-love. And we say loving the self, that's the individual experience, which is part of the whole, because that's also loving the whole. So what we do in life is impacting the whole field. So when we open up and we say we're ready to receive the gift, now this is received in the collective consciousness as well. We are expressing love. We're expressing love so the light quotient increases. So there's more light on the planet. There's more light in our field. The more light that we hold, the more that the darkness that's here, that which is not connecting to the love of which is here, is in darkness. That which is in darkness is in fear. That which is in fear is very unstable energy. It's imbalanced. It's not, you can't predict it. You don't know what's going to happen. And you have an example of an animal who's very fearful. You have a dog who's very fearful. They've been abandoned and you're coming upon them and you want to rescue them. But as you get closer to them, they snarl and they growl. They're very in fear. They're in the survival mode. They're in fear. They don't know whether you're there to help them or harm them. So they're trying to keep you away. But eventually, if you work with the animal and the animal begins to let down its barrier, it begins to allow you to come closer, to come into the field. Eventually, you'll be able to rescue that animal. And then you'll be able to share love with that animal. And that love will then react within the animal where they respond to the love. And then they will be able to give love as well. And it's the same as we have with humans. When we have been conditioned in certain ways, if we've gone through certain traumas, we've lived different experiences in this life and others, which brings us to where we are in our consciousness and our awareness. We may be at a very fearful place, so we're not trusting our fellow man. We're not trusting in life. We're not trusting in God. We are very fearful and very much in the survival mode. And when we are very fearful in a survival mode, we have unstable energy. We can lash out and create harm and harm another. We are very much into the self, very much in a selfish expression of energy. And the most profound expression of selfishness in our world is murder, where we take the life of another or we murder a relationship, we cause destruction. And that's the most selfish actions that we can have. And that is not one who is aware that there are unlimited potentials in the world. And that is one who's closed off, who's very frightened. So it is for those that are becoming aware, those who are beginning to live and express love, to create the field so that just like coming to the dog and maybe offering a little food over time, and the dog begins to trust, it is working with those who are not yet ready to develop the trust so that they can begin to explore, they can begin to question, they can begin to say, I can have something that's different. And I've worked with many in spiritual counseling over the years, and that's what I do. And they've come from very, very toxic environments, very traumatized, and it took time to develop the self-esteem. It took time to develop and teach the laws of the universe so that one can understand that they hold the power within, and that the presence of God is within. And when we connect to that, then we are open to those possibilities and potentials. And I have witnessed them totally transforming their lives, coming from being held prisoner in a life experience to being set free. And they set themselves free by opening up to receive the teaching, by opening up to allow themselves to be touched, to be experience love through the connection. And it totally transforms the life. So that's awakening from the dream. The dream, when we are not aware of our potential, is a nightmare. It's a very difficult struggle. It's a nightmare. It's not a pleasant experience. It's trying to survive, trying to live through life experience and not be pummeled continuously by the energy that is of low vibration, that is unstable, that is harmful. And we are to rise up and claim our own divine nature. But that we must do ourselves. We cannot do it for another. We can't love someone who's not choosing love and have them experience the love of which we hold for them. We hold that love. We know they are that love. We see them as that love, but they must catch up to that. They must arrive at one point in their expression, whether this lifetime or another, where they're willing to open up to that. So there are unlimited potential and possibilities in the grand scheme of that which is creation. But we must have the awareness of it. We must be a match to it. We must say, yeah, that is what I am. I am that. I am beauty. I am love. I am one with that which created me. That's claiming it. We claim it first. We begin by choosing it to be part of our experience. And then we must experience it. If we're just claiming it and we're not having the experience of it, we're not in the fullness yet. We're in preparation for the experience. But once we have the experience, then it's embodied. Then it's ours. Then we have awakened to a higher degree to the nature of that which we are. And that's the beauty of which we are living within here on this planet. We are living with that as a potential, and one that is being exercised more and more by more and more people. And this isn't about rising to a dimension, a fifth dimension, a sixth dimension, a seventh dimension. It's not about that. Someone can choose it to be and have that as their experience, because we will experience that which we believe. That which we're holding in our belief is our expression. It's within our consciousness. It's that which we are emitting into the field, and that which is going to be revealed to us, come back to us to be our experience. When we are in a very fearful state of mind, we are emitting fear to the field. We are going to experience fear. We're going to experience more and more things to be fearful of. When we choose love and we're emitting love into the field, we will experience love, more and more of that which brings love into our world. So what we are believing is what we are experiencing. So when we know that, when we hear it and it's spoken to us, we say, oh, wow, that sounds right. That resonates with me. But I may not, when I ask myself, am I there yet? Am I able to really feel that? And we say, well, you have to ask yourself, does it feel like you're experiencing it now? Or is it something that you know exists, but you know there's a bit of a gap between where you are and where that energy is? And if that's the case, you say, yeah, the possibility, the potential's there. It's there for me. It's waiting. It's already there. It exists. It's not like it has to be created. We don't have to buy it. We don't have to earn it. All we need to do is to vibrate at that same level. And when we vibrate at that level, that's our experience. So we say, okay, if I'm not vibrating there, what's holding me back? Well, I want to experience love. I really want love. I want to experience love, but I'm experiencing fear. So what's holding me back is my belief in fear, my belief that I have to protect myself, my belief that there's things that can harm me that I create in my world and I experience them. I say, okay, well now what if I begin to place my attention on I am love. Love is in me and all around me. And I choose this day to interact with everyone and everything in my life experience through the lens of love, which means that I begin by accepting myself as love. I may not be in vibration with that in the moment, but when I hold the intention that I am to align with that, I'm bringing myself closer into the experiencing of it, and I begin to live it. I must walk it in life. I must live it. In order to awaken from the dream, I must take the steps to waking up. I must choose them. I must choose where it is I want to go, and then I must set my sight on it. If I want to experience the oneness of life, I must focus on oneness. And that means that if I am holding in my life expression separation, if I believe that I must take care of me, and I'm not allowing myself to open to that which created me, that which is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, is always in motion, is within me, is caring for me in everything. When I allow it to, when I don't push it aside and say, I'll do it, I can do better, then I experience that. And then my life becomes one of ease and grace. I'm no longer struggling to make things happen. I'm in gratitude for the experiencing of the happening of which is in the flow of life. That's awakening from the dream. So it's understanding what's going on in the world. The world has that spell on it to keep us limited, to keep us in fear, to keep us cooperating with the status quo, to allow the elites of the world to control that which we experience. So if there's a television and you've got the television on, And the programming that's on the TV, whether it be a TV show or whether it be the news, is programmed. We understand it's a program, but we're not listening to the word program. We're being fed information to produce an outcome. When we're watching it, we're participating. We're now agreeing with this program. We subscribe to it. So we are not seeking the potentials for experiencing our own empowerment. We've chosen to allow ourselves to ride with the program. When we begin to awaken from the dream, we realize that our life experiences have been a program. We've been programmed to believe that we're separate from one another, that we live in separate homes, that we live in separate bodies, that everything is separate. Yeah, we each have bodies. We have individuated consciousness, but we are anything but separate. We are always connected. We are connected in the field. We're not connected and conjoined together in one big whole. We're connected in the field. You cannot separate yourself from the field. The field is the creator. It is everything, everywhere, in all of creation. We can never separate from the field. We are one with the field. Because we are one with the field, that means that we are all connected. We are all experiencing the field through our lens, through our perception. And as we grow and our lens begins to become clearer and clearer, now we are impacting the field with clarity. Now we have higher vibration. Now we have more light. Now we can create a whole new world. It's time now for us to take a quick break here at the station. We have much more to talk about. I hope you stay with us. See you soon.
Want to see your video here? Sponsor WLTK DB Talk Radio and watch us make that happen. With your paid sponsorship of $80, you receive a professional produced audio, video, and banner placement on our station. Not only does your sponsorship air during our live shows, but also replayed on our podcast and heard by hundreds of like-minded people. Visit WLTKDB.com to get started and find out just how hard we work to get you noticed.
Welcome back. This is Amora Bonet of the Voice of Oneness here on WLTK Talk Radio. And we are discussing waking up from the dream. Are you ready? And we've discussed a lot tonight about the dream. And now we ask you, are you ready? Are you ready to wake up? For some people will say, well, that seems a little scary. But is it really? For when we're waking up, it's one step at a time. It's one awareness at a time. And we're all at different levels of awareness. And when we realize that and we make space for one another and we decide to put down the judgment of one another and the judgment of ourself, then we can open to greater compassion, understanding, and love. When we realize that, we're each having an experience, and we have the right to experience as we choose. That which created us, imbued us with the free will to experience life, to go and journey, and is with us throughout the journey, always present, ever present, always waiting for us to tune in. When we tune in, then we live a more fulfilling experience, but it's ours to choose. We must choose to connect. We must choose to express our divinity. We must choose love. And when we make the choice, now we are creating our own destiny. Now we are taking charge of our experience as it unfolds organically through the guidance of the soul. We begin to experience life from a whole new perspective. We begin to feel within that which is right for us and that which is not. We can begin to challenge ourselves to step into new ways of being, even if they are a little scary at times. But we say, you know what? It's arriving in my life at this time. It's an opportunity. And I'm going to allow myself to experience this opportunity, even if it means giving up that which I've been holding on to for a long time. Because this is forward movement. This is expansion. Life is always life affirming. It's always forward movement. And when we are aligned with that, then we are living. When we are not aligned with that, not allowing ourselves to grow and experience, we are not living. We are not allowing ourselves to live. We're keeping ourselves very limited, very small. And we'll do that until we're ready to expand. And the beauty of this awakening is we get to see more and more people expanding. So more and more people expanding, shedding more and more light, more and more people questioning the status quo, more and more people saying no, standing up and saying no, no, no. Just because you are a government or just because you are a corporation, a very powerful individual, you do not have anything over me. And this was the prime example of Jesus the Christ. When Jesus the Christ walked the earth, it was not to gather us all up and say, okay, I am Savior, I'm here to save everyone. The saving comes through the awareness that we hold choice, that we are divine, that we hold the power, and that there's nothing on this earth or of this earth that holds power over us. We can let anyone say whatever they choose about us. It does not disempower us unless we choose to allow it. We can let others have the thoughts that they have. We can crucify ourselves and let this world of limitations go, knowing that none of it can touch us in truth. None of it. It's all part of the dream. All part of the dream. It's all part of the roles we play when we seemingly hurt one another. We do it in gentle ways and horrific ways. And with that comes experiencing of expression of energy of the divine. And we're all held accountable for that. And the one who gets to judge whether it's right for us or not is us. We get to decide if we were truly living or were we the walking dead. We get to decide that. And it sounds kind of harsh, but it is the reality. We get to decide what is our truth. We get to decide how we live. No one decides for us. We decide. We are creator beings. And when we harness that understanding and we step into that power, we create that which we believe. So that is for each person to come into the understanding of and to choose. Choose love. Choose love. And understand what love is. And that's going to be another show, what love is. For sometimes we say, oh, I love this person. I love them and I want them to do this, this, or this. That's not love. Love holds no control over anyone. Love allows. Love holds no conditions. It simply is. So therefore, if I am loving you, I am loving you, for all that you are, the expression of. For I understand that at the core of your being, you and I are one. We are love. We're here having a physical life experience, and we may not be choosing the same ways of expressing that energy, and it may not be all that comfy when we are not in resonance. It doesn't feel good, but it doesn't change the fact that when the lens clears, when our eyes are clear, when our mind is clean, when we are seeing through the clear lens, we see love and only love. So to get there, we must make choices. We must choose where we are to begin to experience love, to release others from condemnation. Do not judge another as not being good enough, as not being pretty enough, as not being smart enough, as not being kind enough, as not being that which you want them to be, and say, oh my goodness, those are my wants. If I'm holding them, it means I believe I lack those qualities. So let me take action and let me begin to express them myself. Let me love myself. Let me honor myself. Let me enter into actions within my life of which bring joy to me. And if I'm not sure what brings me joy, let me set about finding out. Let me begin by sharing myself with another. And if I don't feel comfortable sharing myself with another human being, then maybe I can volunteer at an animal shelter. And I can pet the animals and I can walk the dogs and I can share the love in me, because we all have it. We may be holding on to it. We may be hiding behind it, but we all have it. And if we want to experience it, we've got to let it out. So in whichever way we can do it, some of us are the most magnificent artists. And when we're creating our art, our love is expressed in the world through our art, and others see it and they feel it. They feel the love. Some of us, it's cooking, the food cooked with love. When it's taken in, it is then shared with those who have taken it in. It's a beautiful thing. So no matter what our talent is in the world, if we are sharing it with love, then we are propagating love. And love will be our collective expression. And this is the time when it's needed most, because this is the unraveling. This is the chaotic time. This is the time when that which is not love must fall. And when we have destruction, we have pain. So the more love that we can share, the better off we're all going to be. I hope this makes sense. I hope that you've enjoyed this evening. I have. And if you have any questions, always you can contact me at amorabonet.com or voiceofoneness.com. Thank you for sharing with me this evening. I want to leave you with these words. Remember that you have within you all you'll ever need to experience success. What is required of you is the opening to the realization, coupled with the ability to allow yourself to be guided in new ways as you freely release what has been and embrace what is now unfolding. Here and now, you may create from the field of unlimited potentials, clearing a passage for you to rise in experiencing your truth. This is your task. You must seek to reveal the truth. You are to be a revealer of truth, not a subject of falsehoods. Embrace your light and shine on. You are a star, and so be it. Much love and blessings to all. Thank you, and good night.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.